Let's talk a little bit about detailing your Harley-Davidson. We found this bike in a garage, uncovered and filthy. It hasn't been ridden in years. So before even washing this bike, I'd like to blow it off with some clean compressed air. There are a lot of different ideas and different ways you'll find to blow off a dirty motorcycle such as this. You can look on the internet for some ideas, ask your friends. Today I have clean compressed air, so let's begin by blowing off this bike. I'm going to start top to bottom, front to back. I've finished cleaning off this motorcycle with clean compressed air. I have the option today to put the motorcycle up in the air, which is helpful. Next, what I like to do is look towards the bottom of the motorcycle. There are a lot of areas that build up lots of greasy film, oil, road debris. Some of the areas that are worse for this, like the frame, there's filth on my finger similar to what you might get off of an older car. I like to wipe these areas first before even washing, because sometimes soap and water isn't enough to loosen up this type of dirt. I use a clean shop rag. Sometimes a penetrating oil is helpful, especially for a powder-coated finish like this frame. So first, I'll start from the front of the bike and work my way back. All of the filthiest, dirtiest areas that I see that I could get right now with it up in the air before washing it, I find it important to do now, because later when I have a nice clean wash mitt, soap and water, I don't want to grab any grease and move it around and push it around the motorcycle, or dirt or any kind of debris that may scratch a fine chrome finish or a painted finish. You could even use a penetrating oil with your clean shop rag on chrome surfaces. This is a good way to loosen up heavy grime and dirt. You don't have to go crazy, because the soap and water will take care of a lot as well. But like I said, any heavy, filthy areas, try to hit them first. Spend just a little time. You don't have to go crazy, but it'll make washing the motorcycle easier later. I've wiped off any heavy grime, filth, and oil from the lower portion of the motorcycle, and I've lowered it back down to the ground. Next, I want to soak the bike and rinse it off really good with water. Focus on not over-soaking an air cleaner or the area of your intake. If you have the beginning of a problem, you may make it worse. Some air cleaners are fancier, or the element may be exposed. In that case, you want to cover that type of air cleaner with a plastic bag. Maybe secure the bag with an elastic. Make sure you don't get that element soaked if you're not servicing it at this time. So next step, rinse the bike off really well. And just like wiping the bike of heavy debris, I do the same thing. Top to bottom, front to back. For washing this motorcycle, a mild car washing soap that you can find at your auto parts store locally is a good mild detergent soap to use. Just like I've said a couple of times already, if you're going from top to bottom, front to back, it's easier to realize that you're not missing any spots. It's either easier to keep track of where you've been, because later you're going to want to be waxing this motorcycle. You really don't want to be pushing any dirt around that you may have missed. You might not even see it, but it'll be there, and your finished product won't be so satisfying to see scratch marks on your chrome finishes or paint. I spend lots of time washing. The more time you spend washing, the easier it is to wax and polish later. Also, when washing, any kind of mitt you find at your local stores is fine, or just a clean rag. Sometimes a clean rag like this is easier to get into tight spaces like between spokes or around the fins of the motor. When I'm washing, I'm paying attention to every surface, not just what's easy to grab, not just what people see. Like this master cylinder. Rubbing the soap, getting the soap and the rag really close in around the banjo fitting, on the bottom side of the brake lever, and the switch housings. Even pay attention to throttle cables. Everything you can get. Just wash it. Don't forget to rinse your rag or your mitt. The dirtier the bike, the more frequently you should probably be doing that. You may even have to replace your water and soap halfway through to keep from pushing dirt and debris around your motorcycle. In tight spots like this on the front end, not only am I going to focus on nice shiny chrome bells in the lower legs, but there's even a chrome trim piece on the lower neck of this bike. Even if it wasn't chrome, I'd be washing this right now. I think I'm finished washing off this motorcycle. I've washed it really thoroughly, not on just the easy to see surfaces or easy to reach surfaces. Everywhere from tops of fenders to fronts and backs of calipers, in between all the spokes, the frame, everywhere I could get, I washed. It makes it much easier later when you're doing your waxing and polishing. So now it's time to rinse off the motorcycle. And rinsing, although it's very easy and mundane, it's very important just the same that you get all the soap out of all the crevices of the motorcycle. There's a lot of different spaces. And you're also rinsing off dirt right now. And I do the same thing like I mentioned, front to back. Now that I have this motorcycle rinsed off thoroughly, I'll blow it off with clean, compressed air, front to back. It's good if your blowgun has a rubber end on it. If it doesn't, sometimes you can make a rubber end with a piece of rubber hose or just wrap it with electrical tape. This way, if you accidentally bump any surface of the motorcycle, hopefully you will not scratch it. Blowing off the motorcycle, another mundane, boring thing maybe to do, but it's very important because you want to get to waxing this. So make sure you blow it off thoroughly. When you're going to the mirrors, get all the crevices, the mirrors, switch housings. It may take a while. The water will keep blowing out, it seems, for a while, but eventually there will be no more. And this is also very important to start at the top and make your way downward. There's no reason to start low, because then when you're blowing off the top of the bike, all that water is going to be dropping where you just blew off lower. So top to bottom, front to back, and as thorough as possible. Now that we've thoroughly washed and rinsed and blown off this motorcycle with compressed air, it's blown dry, it's time to apply wax, maybe some polish, and whatever we need to do to make this motorcycle look great. There's a lot of products out there right now, not just for waxing and polishing, but for helping you get bugs off your windshield. There's products out there to help you get boot marks off of your exhaust. The possibilities are probably endless if you started looking on the internet. But today we're going to start waxing. I'm going to apply wax first to the painted areas. Not just the painted surfaces, but I like to start up here on the fuel tank. And while I'm up here, I'll touch the dash and the dash plate and maybe the gas cap. If you can, apply the wax in small circular motions and don't leave it on too long. We like to use a microfiber rag or wipe down cloth to apply the wax. And this type of rag is also very good for pulling the wax off after it dries, although there are a lot of different options out there. The most important thing is that you're using something completely clean, and lint-free is also a good benefit. If you're doing this on a hot sunny day and you're not in the shade, you'll have to start wiping off this wax much sooner than I may be doing today inside a garage. When it's hot, the wax obviously will dry a little quicker. And if you leave it on too long, it could be a real pain to pull it back off. And you should relax when you're doing this. Don't think you're going to get it done fast. Detailing is a long process. It's not something easy. It takes a lot of effort. But when you're finished, you'll feel like you've accomplished something. If your area beneath the motorcycle is still wet, make sure whatever you're applying or removing the wax with, you're not dragging it through the wet surface beneath you. You may pick up something you don't want to and rub it into your paint or chrome surfaces. Now, I just applied wax to the front tank area and the rear fender area. I'll work my way towards the front painted fender. After I touch up that area, I'll probably at that time want to start removing some of the wax that I've just applied. Make sure you're not caking the wax into tight areas or areas where even a Q-tip won't be able to pull the wax back out of. You'll make a real mess for yourself, and the finished end product will really not look very good. Another area to stay away from with your wax is your cylinder fins. Your cylinders, your motor, your transmission case, your inner primary case. If you get wax into these areas, it's really tough to get it out, and it looks awful. Now that I've got a good coat of wax on some of the painted areas, it's time to pull some of this wax off with another clean microfiber cloth. You start pulling the wax off where you started. That's the point that is dried quickest or dried more completely than where you left off. It's important to shake the rag out. It'll collect with a lot of wax after a while, and it'll take you longer to remove what you just applied. In an area like this, where the indicator lenses are, I didn't put wax on the indicator lenses, but with this cloth, I'm definitely going to wipe over them. I definitely didn't get any wax pushed into that area, but with a little microfiber rag, while you're going through, wiping the wax off is a good time to wipe those areas after you've already washed them. This is another area, like I mentioned before, don't get wax into your dash trim. It just makes it tougher later to clean the wax out. I found a spot on the muffler back here that looks like a boot mark. Maybe the passenger hit this part of the pipe with their foot. And I wanted to mention there's a lot of products on the market for specialty type cleaning problems like this. We have some of them here today. There's products to clean up aluminum. Even if it's not a blemish, you could really clean the aluminum and make it look shiny. Some people may mistake it for chrome. But there's lots of products out there to clean aluminum. And there's products for exhaust pipes for cleaning off the blue coloring, especially towards the heads of the motorcycle. The pipes often turn blue. There's product for that. Try some. There's a lot of different products out there. Try different ones. Hopefully the first one you buy works out great. But there's one mark over here. I'd like to take a little time so I don't forget later. Before I finish waxing, I'm going to take care of this right now and then wax over this. This boot mark came right off. I'm happy about that. I'm ready to grab some wax and go over this area again. I don't want to leave any area unwaxed. Rims like this, especially when they're this dirty, this could take up to an hour, maybe more, depending on how much time you can invest into taking care of this. The spokes are filthy. It takes a lot of time. It's tough to get your fingers into these tight spaces. But you could take the time and make this rim look close to new. I've already wiped it off really good with my penetrating oil. Now I'll take the time to wax it. If there's any spots that don't look good, that have some rust or oxidation, there are products to take care of that too. And I wouldn't wax over those areas. This rim looks pretty good today, just started out really filthy. So I usually start by just simply getting wax all around the rim and then work my way between the spokes. Make sure you're not caking the wax in any tight areas where it's going to be hard to remove, but do your best. It's tedious, and somebody who does this professionally for a living, it does take them some time. It may take you a little bit more time, but even a professional would take some time in this area. Now that I've got my wax worked in between where all the spokes meet the rim, I'm going to start taking some time to try to clean up these spokes themselves. It's always good to reference your starting point so you know you've gotten every spoke on the face and on the inside. And don't forget about the hub itself. behind the rotor over here. You'll definitely want to take time to clean this up. Polish it if it's aluminum, wax it if it's chrome. The good thing about using a lift, if you can, or a jack, if you can spin the wheel like this, it's beneficial, but if you have nothing, you have to roll this around on the ground a little bit, it's still worth the effort. Do one area at a time. I'm working on this back rim over here, and I'm noticing that this right rear turn signal has a lot of pitting in the chrome. It's due to damp situations and maybe not waxing this bike very much or taking very good care of it. There are a lot of different metal polishes and solutions that can help you with that pitting. Once something starts pitting like this, it's not the end of the world. You may not be able to eliminate it completely, but you can really push it back and hold it at bay if you keep it waxed after you treat it with a metal polish. This product that I just used removed nearly all the pitting that was showing in this right rear turn signal. Now that I've treated this pitting, I will re-wax this turn signal assembly and get back to my rear rim. A couple of things I would suggest you do not do when detailing your motorcycle. First of all, I want to point out, when you're done riding, if you don't have time to wash the motorcycle, don't just panic about the dust that you've just collected and try wiping off the tank or fenders or even chrome surfaces with a glass cleaning agent and a clean rag or anything. You need to wash it. If you don't have time at that point, save it for the next day or save it for the weekend. Any kind of products you may use on your car tires that preserves the sidewalls or makes them look nice, do not use on your motorcycle. These products are usually slick and very dangerous on this with two wheels. Any products similar to that as well, do not use on your floorboards or your foot pedals, your brake foot pedal. Those could be slippery. Anything that could disrupt your riding and your safety is obviously bad. Another area that some people may mess up on, using a product on your seat that may be slick. Obviously, same situation. Any sliding, or if you're not safe and comfortable, you may be in an accident. You don't want to do that. I've given you just a small overview of what I usually do when I'm detailing a motorcycle. Do it your own way, and don't make it feel like it's a project and that you're miserable to do. Do it when you have time. You don't have to do it all in one day. Lots of times I'll prep a bike and wash it one day, come back to wax it the next after covering it. You don't ever have to let a bike get as filthy as this one that we are using as demonstration. You could do little things in between. First of all, by having a good coat of wax on a motorcycle, it makes it easier to clean the next time. Never just wipe a motorcycle when you're done riding with a clean rag, with a glass cleaning agent. You'll think that you're cleaning it, but you're going to be scratching it because you're really just pushing the dirt and dust around. You need to wash it. So if you don't have time at that point, save it for tomorrow or save it for the weekend. You don't have to wash your bike every time you ride it. You don't have to wax it every time. But waxing and detailing is part of servicing your motorcycle. Keeping wax not only on painted areas, but on chrome surfaces helps preserve these pieces and helps preserve the integrity of your motorcycle. It is part of service and it is very important.